But, I mean, that's why, despite through it all, I mean, I've been far from an unreasonable person, despite all the shit that I've had to deal with over the last 3 years.
I know that, Matt, and that makes two of us. But
well, I think what I had to deal with was a little bit more serious.
Well, potato, potato, tomato, tomato.
No, it was a certain huge difference, because had the circumstances have been different, and had I been living in Oxford, I would have been guilty until proven innocent, and I probably would have been fucking shanked for the accusation that was put against me. Definitely the first one, and quite possibly the second.
Again, there are things that you and I both have to take to the cross. And I know for a fact that there are things that I have definitely taken to the cross and have left there. And it is pure evil and hatred for me to be subjected to everything brought up over and over again.
Well, the thing is, I never did confront it.
Admission to that.
I just never did confront it. You and I never did actually talk about that. I have no idea why that happened. I can only assume it was probably Dustin, and played a part in it.
That was a major part, yes. Again, there are things that we have to take to the cross, Matt, and leave it there.
Yes, Joey, you still on?
Hello?
Joey.
Yes.
Hey, it's Matt Reardon. Hey, I sent you, so when we got off the phone earlier, I sent you over the Word document that the paralegal had sent me. It was not executed, it was not signed, but I talked to Sherry Wall, and Sherry forwarded over both the order from 2016 that showed that I had joint legal custody, everything, and then she also sent me the 2017 modification that took it back to unsupervised, showed the visitation schedule, and I sent both of those to you. I wanted to make sure they didn't show up in your spam box.
Okay, I had checked my email, but I guess I didn't. Your number wasn't correct. I tried calling earlier. Debbie just got back a few minutes ago and spoke to her, saw your daughter, she's fine, spoke to your wife,
yeah.
I'm sorry, spoke to Phyllis.
Yeah.
And she stated that she was following what the child custody services were telling her, and you could not see the child, and she just waited to see what the court did.
The child custody services closed it out and said that she was she was making false claims. They closed everything out. They investigated it. That's incorrect.
I don't doubt anything you're saying, but that's what she told us, and said she wouldn't not know. No, she did not want you over there. That's the reason I think we went out there. So.
Wow. She said. So
if I were you, I would get my attorney or go through Rural Legal Services and get the process going.
Okay.
We will have a report on file stating just what I told you.
You do have a report?
Yeah, I'll also write a report on it.
Okay, I appreciate it. And yeah, I've made sure to document every other Friday I drive to Pontotoc. It's a 30-minute trip for me to go meet up for visitation. And I do that because, the one time that I don't, she's bound to show up and say I wasn't there. But I made sure that my wife sends her a text message every other Friday that Matt will be in Pontotoc at 5 o'clock per the visitation schedule. And she will not respond back, has not responded back once. I've wasted my time and my gas every other Friday driving to Pontotoc and driving back empty-handed. And it's crazy.
I believe you're doing what's right, so I think it'll come back and it'll pay off for you.
Okay.
The waiting game for you, it may be bad now, but that type of stuff helps you later in court when y'all get there.
It does, but it's just I cannot get these times back. I feel like
I hear what you're saying, yeah. And I read a report before we went out there and checked on it for you the other day.
Yeah. What would you do, Joey, if you were in my shoes? And it was your child that.
That's tough, man. For each person's different. It depends on what frame of mind you're in at the time. You know, I'd like to think that I would try to stay within the law and do right, but, you know, again, sometimes a waiting game, doing right's hard, but the reward in the end could be best.
Yeah.
You may not get saved for another 3 months, but in the end, if you show the judge you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you're doing it right, you know, your reward could be that you get your daughter full time.
I feel like she has no right to play the judge, jury, and execution. And
I don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I just, you know, I feel like it doesn't show care on my behalf if I don't, you know, do everything I can to at least see my daughter and speak to her.
And I think you are. You're doing everything within the law. And if nothing else, you can bring the child up here to the jail, and you can come up here and see her.
Right.
Child Protection Service.
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking for Mercedes.
She no longer works for our office, sir.
She doesn't? Okay. Maybe you can assist me then. Elena is the caseworker over here in Lee County that we've worked with. My name is Matt Reardon. My ex has repeatedly made false reports. She's actually under indictment right now for filing a false rape charge in DeSoto County. And she has kept my child from me since the middle of January. Hadn't let me see her or talk to her. And Lafayette County Sheriff's Department went out there about a week ago because I wanted to see her and talk to her. And she told them that her caseworker told her that I was not to see or talk to my daughter. And Elena confirmed that to not be. She said that is absolutely false.
That's not something that we would probably do.
Yeah, she said she was going to try to reach out to the caseworker, which was Mercedes, and I hadn't heard anything back. I know that, you know...
Mercedes has been gone from our office for over a month.
Okay.
So first of all, she hasn't talked to Mercedes recently, I can assure you.
It would have been originally, back in probably the last week of January. My ex is invoking y'all's agency's name and saying that y'all are saying that you know, that I can't see or talk to my child. So I was hoping, you know, the case is y'all had closed out the case. It's got me stuck between a rock and a hard place because I worry about my daughter. This woman is crazy. To just I haven't even.
About her and attorney?
Yeah, but you know.
To court?
Yes, and she is in direct contempt of the judge's order, and she doesn't care. The problem is, we had a baby born on Christmas Day that spent almost 2 months at Le Bonheur. You know, it put us financially between a rock and a hard place.
I understand. I just thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, I had to shut my company down that I started last year because of the operating expenses increasing, and it's like, you know, I have to pay money to file.
You can't get out and do diddly, I know.
She made a fake allegation back in November, like October or November of 2017, that I had touched my daughter. I would never in a million years.
Well, I believe you there because she's obviously lying to you about what I can corroborate with you, that we haven't told anyone that you can't see your child. That's, you know, the only way we would do that is if you've been arrested for some type of sexual offense, and you know what I'm saying? You've been in jail for something like that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So she's lying anyway.
Right.
Not that that should surprise you based on what you're telling me. Honest to goodness, I do not know, like I say, other than having to get an attorney and take her butt back to court. Okay, tell me that child's last name again, please.
It's Reardon, Reardon.
And the first name was what?
Lydia, Lydia.
Lydia. Okay, there is no type of open case. And like I say, she's going to obviously, from the sounds of things, she's going to keep lying to you and trying to pull your chain and that kind of stuff. She's definitely in contempt.
Sure. Now, is there...
And that's the only two things that I can think of, sweetie.
Is there anything that I can get, basically saying that it is closed out and she was never told that she's to keep the child from seeing me and talking to me? Because
no, I mean,
if I can give that to Joey East.
No, but I mean, you can tell Joey East, he has phone numbers to my supervisor, who is Jennifer Candler.
Okay.
I mean, we're not
even hold me going into our office and all to be able to print anything, sir.
Okay.
So, I mean, he can call Jennifer if he wants to. They have access to our phone numbers. Trust me, we have to give them on-call schedules with, all of our staff, information as far as phone numbers are concerned.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you've got a court order there, you can just ask him, if there's somebody that will escort you to the house with that court order and let you see this child. And like I say, that may not be something that they can legally do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because if not, then your only other option is to get this woman back in court.
And of course, it takes a long time.
That's the only other option I'm aware of.
With the backed up court schedule and everything shut down. Definitely.
And I'm sorry, I'm no more help than that.
No, I appreciate it. When our other daughter was born back in April of 2018, she did the same type of thing, and it was like a jealousy issue.
I understand, sir. Well, like I said, talk to them about having that order that you have proof of visitation today.
Well,
I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, bye-bye. Okay, so getting on to a new topic, and that is how the laws are applied. Are they applied equally, or is it an equal distribution of how the laws are applied in the state? And one of the things that I've really noticed that's really stood out here lately has been a real disappointment to me, is just the clear two systems of laws that are being applied. Last night I went through the Mississippi Civil and Criminal codes to look at everything around my case that I have brought forward, that I have proof of, and it's amazing to me that I printed out probably 20 different laws that have been just grossly violated. My rights have been absolutely destroyed in all of this, and the fact that people can so easily get away with the things that they get away with in intentional means by way of torts, and those are never looked at. In fact, even going to the point of intentionally doing it now because of the stand I'm taking against it, and how all of this just gets overlooked. And so I printed out about 20 different sheets, 20 different laws that had been just flagrantly broken. And it amazes me at how the state looks at all of this, how these municipalities do, and it's all based on who you are. If you're an attorney, it's clear that the laws apply to you differently, and you have different kind of influence to where you can actually make the same laws that apply to everybody else not apply to you, not apply to your client. And just the extreme gross victimization that is going on, how lives are steadily being destroyed. And it's like, it's no sweat off the back of these people, and it doesn't even matter how many lives get destroyed. I've always thought that Mississippi was one of the states that was going to be further behind the rest as far as corruption went, intentional fraud committed in the state. And I was wrong. I was extremely wrong. This is so disappointing. It's depressing just how far off track things as a society have gotten. For me, it takes on a whole different form because of the oath that I took when I joined the Marine Corps that not everybody took. And so, of course, especially when it's exacted in revenge upon me, I'm going to, of course, take the biggest sign of disrespect and assume the thought that and the stance that this is far beyond just an attack. And it's escalated things to using the courts in a way to where it's taking an intentional tort and further blowing it out into a full-on declaration of war on the citizens by the courts, by the corrupt system, by the deep state. Mississippi, the state that I thought was going to be the furthest behind the eight ball when it came to deep state corruption, and everything that I have uncovered, discovered, investigated, all signs lead to it actually being up there at the top. People just don't realize. Y'all need to open your eyes. It's beyond anything criminal. When you really take a look at the big picture, you can definitely take on a much higher appreciation for the job that President Donald Trump does, and all the enormous amounts of bullshit that he has to put up with on a daily basis, dealing with the corrupt deep state machine. It's much larger, it's much darker, it's much deeper, it's much murkier than I think what most people realize. Most people do not see the intricate details and, what all is really truly happening underneath the hood. And I've tried to do my best in demonstrating that through writing with the Outlaw. Enough people just are not paying attention to it. They're not seeing the things that are truly going on, and unfortunately it's going to be too late when most people do. Right now, one of the big problems that I'm dealing with is a publisher by the name of the Oxford Eagle that put out an article on May 30th, 2017. In that article, Major Alan Wilburn of the Lafayette County Sheriff's Department, in fact, spoke libelously in what he knew was a completely false and untrue way of painting a narrative around everything that happened back during my witch hunt. Spoke in fact and not using the word allegedly as he knew he was supposed to use. He's been doing this long enough, speaking to the media long enough to know that you use the word allegedly. And not only was he completely wrong in what he did, and it was intentional to further divide my base of people that were behind me and to paint a picture that was not really truly the case to help divide the community even further. But there's no remorse. There's absolutely no remorse. And he further gone on the offensive with that. And I'm looking for a retraction article to be issued by the Oxford Eagle for them to press him for details for the proof, which he does not have. He will not produce because there is none. If he doesn't have it, they have to put out a correction article or they are liable under the Mississippi libel laws. So we're calling Olive Branch Municipal Court. I called about a week ago. I spoke with a guy named Dickie. Dickie. And Dickie read off what the final outcome was, what the argument was by the defense counsel and by the state. Here's what he had to say.
Well, it's not much to say here. The argument with the counsel for the city and the defense counsel on the city arguing the maximum jail time and maximum fine. Defendant arguing minimum of this done with latest ongoing custody dispute. 20 parties now on file in the Lafayette County Chancery Court. The court, after hearing the argument, sentenced is limited to 30 days in jail and fined $1,209.25. Court ordered a report back date to allow appeal if desired by counsel and for final sentencing. So nothing can be done until that final court date.
Now that was on the 19th of October. That was coincidentally Phyllis's birthday. And then I called back on Monday, the 26th, a week later. She had trial on the 27th, the following day. Here's how that call went. Now tomorrow, today is the 26th, tomorrow's the 27th. The 27th is the deadline that Liz Crowder has to either get an appeal in or turn herself in to start a 30-day jail sentence. By the way, it's absolutely ridiculous that somebody could even be sentenced to 30 days in jail for falsely accusing another of rape. That is a rant I'm going to go on at another time. Right now, I'm calling Olive Branch Municipal Court. Here we go. I can't say I'm surprised by this.
Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you reach this,
just turn it off because they live in the voice on the phone. Never turn your phone.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna leave a voicemail. I've never in my life seen a court that will not answer phone calls as much as Olive Branch Municipal Court.
I didn't know that was even possible.
I didn't either.
Because
every time I've gone down there, there's at least 3 people back in the clerk's office. Well, so yeah. Where is everybody at, and why can't they answer the phone?
Not just that, it's like pretty much you always know that you can call down there, or you should be able to call your city hall or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're always going to answer.
How many other people are getting phone calls ignored by Olive Branch? It seems that...
Or they should have put on a hold.
There's so many places that do things just sloppily when it comes to courts. Sloppy, like sloppy seconds. Ugh. Okay, so we're calling them back a second time. It's been about 5 minutes or so. You'd think that state employees, city employees, unlike clearly the Judgeless, Judge Bill. By the way, I need to go try to catch her. I might go try to catch her after this. Here we go.
This is Shelby.
Hey Shelby, I was calling to check on, I'm actually the victim in a case that had recently settled out over the past month, actually about a month ago. This is Matt Reardon. I was calling in reference to the Phyllis Crowder case. She has until tomorrow to submit an appeal or turn herself in, and I called about a week ago. Dickie told me that she had not yet filed an appeal, and I wanted to see if anything had changed, if there was an appeal on file yet.
No, she hasn't as of yet, which she can tomorrow in court, but as of right now, she hasn't that I can see.
Okay, so is there like actually a scheduled court time?
Yes, tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 9, okay. So she would have to be there with her attorney, being that they haven't submitted an appeal yet?
Yes, one or the other would have to be here tomorrow at 9.
Okay. Now, is there any way, I know that I'd spoken with Ryan, of course, he's the prosecutor. She had, I've got evidence that they have used the chancery filing in Lafayette County in order to harass and delay legal proceedings. This is what they, if you look at the file, their argument was that there was a ongoing legal matter with Chancery Court in Lafayette County, and those were completely made up, perjured lies that they had done. She had another attorney file it solely for the purpose of trying to reduce the sentence on this. I've actually got proof. In fact, if you look at my counter filing against her, I've got all the proof laid out in that. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of remedies I have, being that they are completely playing the legal system in order to, and they're still keeping my daughter away from me.
Well, and unfortunately, the judge here can't handle anything like that, but, I mean, are you coming in tomorrow at 9 for court?
I mean, I can. I would like to if I would be able to address that particular matter. So if Christy McCoy is going to be there to submit an appeal, or Phyllis is going to be there, I would definitely like to raise that issue of what they did here in Lafayette County. I don't know if the judge has the ability to shoot down their appeal if they try to appeal it. And if they do appeal it, hopefully the appellate court would come down more seriously on her for doing what they did. It's sickening.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is open court, so you're more than welcome to be here at 9 tomorrow and have all of the documentation that you're referring to.
Okay.
And if, opportunity presents itself, you can definitely show that to the judge.
Okay. And so the court tomorrow at 9 o'clock, that's just for, surrendering or submitting the appeal?
That is her report back date, yes, sir. So the judge will address, both of those situations tomorrow in court.
Okay, and is Ryan...
Right then.
What's that?
He could send her straight, to jail. That'll be completely up to him.
Well, I would hope that they wouldn't continue it any longer. That would, just be... Yeah, it should be final, final adjudged. But is Ryan... I know that the case is over as far as, it's been adjudged. I know that Ryan's familiar about, the tactics that they were trying and what I had brought him in the loop of. And I know the normal court procedure is like on an active, ongoing thing, that I have to, speak with him in court. But since this is settled out, I was hoping maybe that I could, bring him into the loop on everything as far as, what all has happened here in Lafayette County in regards to that.
Yeah, he is supposed to be here tomorrow, so you could possibly have an opportunity to speak to him as well.
Okay, I didn't know if I could speak with him today.
He's not here. He's only here on Tuesday. So where he is every other day of the week, I have no idea. I have no contact information for him other than when he's here on Tuesday.
Okay, and one other question I have for you. Can I get a copy of the final judgment, their arguments? Because, like I said, I'm in this chancery matter. I haven't seen my daughter since January. She's been, they've gone in gross contempt of the visitation order, and it's just been a vicious misuse, flagrant abuse of the court system. The visitation order to try to manipulate a favored outcome for them, and I'm trying to get a copy of the final judgment up there.
Okay, and once we have one, we could look at getting that for you, but with it still being, ongoing and with the report back day of tomorrow, there isn't a final as of yet.
Okay, and what exactly was their argument again for the final sentence?
Oh, now that I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't have her folder. It's getting ready for court tomorrow. So I don't have any idea what's going on with this case.
I got you. Okay. I'm trying to push for reform. I definitely think that somebody that falsely accuses somebody of rape or even of any felony crime definitely should not be sentenced as a misdemeanor. I don't see that as a deterrent in any way, with the seriousness of the crime that they accuse. So.
Right. It is very serious. It really is.
It certainly is. Okay, well, I'm glad you told me there's court at 9 o'clock, because I did not know there was actually a scheduled date and time to come back.
Yes, sir. There is.
Okay. All right. And is there a time? Maybe I'll try calling back before. What time do y'all leave?
We leave at 5.
Okay, I'll call back before 5, before y'all leave, just to make sure that they hadn't submitted an appeal like last second today. That way I don't waste my time and gas driving all the way up to Olive Branch tomorrow morning.
They have it at court.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate it.
Perfect. We'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Circuit Clerk's office.
Hey, is this Allison?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Allison, my name is Matt Reardon. I'm calling in regards to the Phyllis Crowder appeal that would have probably been submitted over the last probably 2 or 3 days to you.
Okay, I don't have an appeal for Phyllis Crowder. What court was it filed in?
It was municipal court in Olive Branch. It was filed last minute. She had court on Tuesday, where she had to surrender or have an appeal in. And they had told me the morning of Tuesday, about 9 a.m., they said that the day before, on Monday, which I had called the day before, and they hadn't received an appeal yet, but they said on Tuesday that they had gotten a last-minute appeal in, and they weren't sure if that was going to be accepted by the circuit court or not. So y'all don't...
Okay, so it's a municipal court appeal from Olive Branch.
Yes.
By the name of Phyllis Crowder.
Yes, ma'am.
There hasn't been anything filed in this office by that name.
Interesting. So, I'm just... Okay, so they had 30 days to appeal, before it gets time barred. And Olive Branch says that the appeal was put in, so I'm trying to... This is very odd.
I haven't received anything in this office regarding an appeal, and I'm the one that processed. It's a criminal matter?
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't received anything about an appeal, and I just processed the paperwork. So, you can check back, but I haven't received anything.
Okay, the reason I was asking, in regards to appeals, would I be allowed to give a victim impact statement? Would I be able to submit a motion to quash the stay of appeal?
You would have to contact an attorney or file anything pro se. I just process the paperwork.
Yeah, I do my own filings.
Hey, sir, there's not. I've got to catch the other line. There's not anything I can assist you with legally, or I just could be able to tell you if a case was open here, because we just process the paperwork when it's filed.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.